It's been forever. Oh my goodness. It's been such a long time since I uploaded anything from this channel. Uh, so just simple explanation. Just have not been motivated. I love gaming content, love PC content, love all that stuff still. But oh my goodness. It's been this summer was just like very little news. And I know I was doing recordings like I had two recordings like post E3, post all of those events. Nothing felt interesting. I'll be honest. And I'll add along towards why that didn't felt interesting at all. But I'm back mostly because it's been just a cluster storm of just announcements and other shows. Like I will more than likely just focus this episode on just gaming stuff, console related, very like gaming ish of like console stuff. And then like my next one is just gonna be me ranting. Sorry, give me a sec. Is just gonna be me ranting about PC stuff. Just straight up tech PC stuff. Just because that of its own is just crazy, like out of this world type of stuff. So, you know, I'm just gonna split it to two. I got the groove back to kind of do more of this, and so you know, we'll see where this goes. And yeah, and per request, and just wanting to try some stuff out, I'm gonna be doing it this method where I have a screen full of stuff to show you guys. Uh, Room's a bit messy in the back, so helps out. But yeah, and so before I really get into like the stuff I want to talk, obviously Nintendo's gonna be like the first thing to talk about. Uh, just kind of want to recap a couple things, just because I will again. This episode is gonna be kind of just like recapping stuff of like the three shows that happened last week: the PlayStation State of Play, the Nintendo Direct, Xbox had a Japanese showcase, which I know a lot of people didn't report on it, but there's a meaning to that showcase, and I liked it a lot more than I did with the E3. And again, I'll explore more about it, but I'm just happy that I'm kind of wanting to go a little bit more into this stuff, even though it's been like a week out at this point. That's why they say beyond the hype. I'm always out. I'm always critiquing everything after the hype is down, and it seems appropriate. Uh, so, I guess first one's up is Nintendo, which for its Nintendo Direct, it was the longest one. It was like 45 minutes, and it went over a bunch of stuff. I just a whole crap load of announcements. Some things relating to current things going on. Some things announcements of like games that are coming within the next couple months, and then just things for next year. Of course, the biggest one is Legend of Zelda. Uh, Finally has the title, and so like that was the big thing, I guess, that ended it off. But there was also a new Pikmin game for old school Nintendo people. Pikmin was a great series. It was more into like the GameCube era, so that's exciting. Octopath Traveler, never tried it, but heard very good things about it. And then it started off with like a Fire Emblem announcement, which as soon as that series kind of took off, that's all that Nintendo was trying to push is more Fire Emblem, more stuff like that, which is great. But overall, I kind of want to summarize Nintendo Direct, just beyond the hype, and would say that while like people don't really realize it, some people do online, and it shouldn't be a hot take, but Nintendo's kind of riding high as this. I like it's not it shouldn't be surprised because everyone would think that Sony's the top dog currently, but really Nintendo is just eating everyone else's dishes in announcements, in content, in delivering stuff that is just for Nintendo. Because not only do you have like these type of announcements where they're very Nintendo centric, but you have just stuff about certain game expansions. You have indie games that are coming out. You had the Splatfest for Splatoon 3, which just released, Switch exclusive. Another Switch exclusive, Mario Rabbids. Just a lot of things that's very Switch oriented. And so you just see all this content, and it's like if you're a person who mainly drives a Switch, like you're eating well. You're eating very well for the next couple months. There's just going to be something that's always going to be there. Even if it doesn't exactly catch your eye, it's just going to be something that's just going to be something to kind of munch on. And it's just that type of healthy console player mentality of like, you know, there's always going to be content for you guys, and the player feels resurgent of I made a great buy for the Switch. That's something that's very needed for consoles. Is the idea that there's value when you buy that system. It's a lot different when it comes to PC. PC, it's a whole other game. But with consoles and console players, it's about uh, making sure that there's value when you buy that system. And so with Nintendo, it's very much we have a bunch of games for you guys. We have something releasing at least every month. Something that I said on that first podcast was, Nintendo is the king for a reason. They have something coming out every single month. Even if it's not for you, they have something either double A or triple A that's coming out every single month. And it's that type of thing where it's like there's just going to be a whole lot of content. And because it's not constrained to needing to be up to these graphical standards, it's going to be able to adapt and just have something on the plate always, which I think for the Switch is just it's something that will keep thriving for it. It's going to get to, the top 3, possibly top 2 most bought consoles of all time. It's going to beat the PS4 this year, and then it's got 2 other consoles in its way, I think. But either way, that's kind of like my basic outline of it. I'm excited for Bayonetta 3. Looks very cool, very stylish, very Devil May Cry. Love it. Uh, you know, this, I do have something to say about this because, Resident Evil is coming to that system. It's coming in that streaming format that, some people have criticisms of. I say get ready for that to kind of be a little bit more of the norm, especially with the lower tier consoles. Uh, Not saying that, the consoles are lower tier, but I think when you think about what's going to be happening and the expectations for high resolution or just playability of certain standards, I think cloud versions are going to be looked at more favorably. It's a hot take and it's going to be one that's going to be developed, but I think this is kind of like the start of the type of bigger leap into that. Um, Mario Kart, I love the deluxe edition. I think the deluxe edition is just the great buy. It's the standout of everything because it's like you pay $25 and you get like 48 maps. And even if they're not as detailed as the originals, it's still like, dude, that's 48 maps. You're set. Like it's way more. Like they could have cut in half and charge you 25, and I would still say, it's not that bad. But $25 and you get like 48 maps. That's incredible. That's just incredible. Splatoon 3. Yeah, like I said, my whole, I guess, background with Nintendo for this is that they were able to just have a whole lot of content available, and it's there for them to seep in. Now, switching over to PlayStation, because they had a short direct. They didn't have anything as detailed, I would say. Um, I think PlayStation is in a weird place right now because it's in a spot where it's like where pushing consoles. Our consoles are selling. We have that one big game that everyone wants to play. It's gonna be God of War. But other than that, it's kind of just quiet, and it's kind of really relying on those third parties to kind of keep chugging along. I know a lot of people want to host about these first party games. They're keep pushing. They're the real console sellers. When in reality, you know, again, we have to be very practical here. Most first party titles hit around that 10% adoption rate. Like you're gonna get maybe for every 10 million consoles, maybe one and a half of those consoles, they'll buy the exclusive for it. Uh, Obviously, there is some exceptions. Again, I said it last time. Spider-Man is the one where it hit 40%. But also, if you look at Nintendo, their track record is off the balls. With 100 million consoles out, and their adoption rate is, I think, near half with Mario Kart. Like, that's crazy. So I just would say, while the first party are important, they are just kind of there. I would see them more now in this current environment as kind of like it's a good side dish to have with your AAA's that you usually get your Call of Duties, your Maddens, all of that. And so when they had their conference, they had, Tekken, which, very good thing for Tekken just because, again, I would say they pretty much have unlocked the fighting game community because they bought Evo. And so it's very much that push to fighting games and making the PS5 the get this game, get this console if you want to play fighting games on it. Street Fighter, Tekken, all of that. Even though more than likely, I think Street Fighter's already confirmed for multi-console. Tekken 8, I think for now is just PS5. But like I said, they're in the game now for competitive fighting. A very small and niche community, but something to look at. There was God of War, story trailer came out, stuff like that. I've not touched God of War since the PS2 days, so I sounds blasphemous, but even when I had the PS4, I don't know. Didn't have real interest in playing the game. It's on PC now. We'll probably get it when it's a big enough discount. Right now it's like $40, so not that well. So probably not right now, but we'll see in the future. What else? There was the Star Wars from the Galaxy Edge. Again, it's a prototype demo for the PSVR. Something that we'll talk about later. That's going to be like my last topic discussion. But, you know, VR2. And then just some, spin off Yakuza game. It's going to be multi-plat. It's going to be kind of cool. Like, again, stuff to kind of add on the third party to help some support. Hogwarts Legacy. Just talking about the exclusive content, that one mission, there's already a lot of judgment calls made about like, exclusivity and stuff going beyond, just normal stuff with Xbox and Sony. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all business. These guys are just trying to make the most amount of money, and so I don't know. Right now, for them, I think there's just a lot that just needs to come through. But at the end of the day, this is just something that even us gamers from Xbox 360 era, we've been introduced to that. So it's nothing. But I guess with Hogwarts Legacy, that is going to be a big ticket game for next year if it comes out well. And then there's this AA game. Again, AA games that are necessary. They had a Stray release earlier this year, the cat game. And so, have another one out. Looks very good. I would say overall, I'm like, yeah, on those. Again, the problem with my current state with the Xbox and PlayStation is while they do have their first parties that come out, every 6 months now. Every 6 to 8 months, it's like kind of there's too much of a long periods for both of them. Uh, and then also with the double A's that they promote, again, it's also within a varied amount of time. So it's tough right now. It's very tough because I think they were very early on put in too much expectations of like better resolution, better imaging, and both their hardwares are at this point now 2 years out of date, which you don't think that's that long. But considering that the actual builds of both of those systems were probably 3 to 4 years, it doesn't look that great. I know there's a lot of technicalities into like, well, technically they have this GPU from a little bit more standard, but when you're looking at it from like a truly technical standpoint, like these consoles were 2018, 2019 consoles that are trying to last a whole span of 7 years now in this age where every 2 years there's going to be PC graphical revolution that will just keep pushing it further and further, even more than the Gen 4 did. Because, or sorry, when I believe it's Gen 8, Xbox and PS4, even more than that gen, because that really didn't feel the full effect of it until the last half when Fortnite came out and there was that whole PC revolution from that. And I think we're going to see it again when Grand Theft Auto 6 gets released. I know that's a hot button thing just because of that huge release, but we'll see from there. But yeah, just more games that we have no idea when they're going to be released, but looks cool. I would say to summarize, PlayStation's state of play is cool concept games that when they release might be cool to play. See stuff like that. Project Eve, Sin Duality. These are very much those type of JP games that like are like goes off the wall. I know Rise and Rohan looks really good, but again, they're all. I would like to say, uh, they're the games that you will see in a couple years down the line. Don't expect anything now. So again, it's all like concept. It's a concept showcase. So again, PlayStation will have that now, and it's a meh. It's very meh for me. Tokyo Game Show. So this was kind of that game show that was released super early in the morning, and just like no one picked it up until later that day. So again, varying levels of hype. I think this was very important for Xbox because it kind of did the thing that needed to do was just instant gratification, which was we're gonna dump a whole bunch of games that are gonna come out within a couple days. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, uh, what's it called this other, sorry, just a lot of JP games that were previously in other consoles but are now coming in here. Just really just push through like, oh, like look at this, all these games are were on other consoles are now coming here. They're gonna be on Game Pass, and so they're technically free to play. And so it's that type of thing where it's instant gratification to a console base that just needs a lot more after like two huge game delays. And so it's like actually three if you think Atomic Heart. This year has not been great to Xbox. Not its fault for the majority aspect. I think yeah. When you look at Starfield was always going to be a delayed game ish. But the big thing with Xbox was Atomic Heart and uh, Stalker 2 being delayed. I think that hurt it the most. Those were going to be like the standout games. Of course, difficulties, Europe conflict, war in Ukraine, all of that stuff kind of really threw the monkey's, not even a monkey's wrench. A car just crashed into the machine and it's just a mess. So hopefully we get to see those games when they do come out. But yeah, so basically, a lot of the Xbox showcase in Japan was just a lot of JP games, but also games that we could appreciate as well. Just coming out within the next couple weeks, and then, like I said, uh, just instant gratification. I know Wulong, that very much Dark Souls like game that's gonna come on in January, which again, instant gratification, very soon, very much coming through. So, uh, it is what Xbox needed. It's just instant gratification due to just those delays. And now we get into the PSVR 2. And you're probably wondering, excuse me one sec. You probably wonder yourself, PSVR 2, we didn't get much information from that. Yes, but I want to explain why I think the VR2 headset and just concept, because it is releasing next year, early next year, is uh, why I think Sony raised their prices up this year. If you're in the out of the loop on that, Sony basically increased all their prices for their consoles about $50 more to every country that's not the US. And again, I think because US it's competitive with the Xbox, but more importantly, the reason everyone's trying to think is why. Because obviously they could do dumb stuff like this. I call it dumb because it's very much an anti-consumer move, even though profit margins, all that stuff. But you kind of have to dig a little deeper and to understand why are they asking for this money right now. And my whole thesis is it's because of this. It's because of the PSVR 2. It's because basically they need to push more money to get more of these units out. Because as we've learned through behind the scenes and just every time there's been new consoles out, you'll know that when new tech gets pushed out the door from studios, the biggest selling and the biggest amount of spending they have to do is right before they release the product because they have to pay the factories to build these things and get them ready to go. And so I think what happened was basically PlayStation got hit with the bill for the VR2 headsets, and they're like, hey, this is way more than what we agreed with. And the manufacturers are like, well, guess what? Shipping this, shipping fees, that, inflation, da da da. And they're like, you need to come up with the cash. And it's like, well, crap. We already had these ordered. We can't really stop this now. We're finally getting in more shipments of PlayStation. And they're like, all right, let's do this. Let's raise the price of the PlayStation. It's still going to sell. We're just going to do it for this fall slash spending season for the holidays. We'll probably bundle a game or something. What the thing I think they'll do towards the winter to kind of lessen the blow, the $50 U.S. dollar, but it's technically happening everywhere else in the world. So, conversions and all that. But what essentially is a $50 U.S. charge for everyone else. What I think what they're going to do later in the year to kind of comfort that is just add in an indie game or add in a game that's come out 2 years ago, Ratchet Clank, something like that. But they're just going to charge more for the console so that they could get more revenue at this moment to pay for the development and the shipping for VR2. Because again, this is a double-edged sword because as you could see, this headset is very unique and it is way more impressive than the Oculus Quest. And it's got so many features, new designs. It's a lot of new stuff. And the problem is when you're doing new stuff, you're paying to for that new stuff at a higher price because you can't just factories can't just use other parts from other tech or stuff that's already been made. That you are now creating the premium product, and so you're going to be paying premium factory price for those specifications. And so what's going on now is to have this unique thing you're gonna have to pay a lot more. And now on top of that, with the inflation, it's like you're gonna have to find the money to pay them up front for some of the manufacturing cost. Because again, that's manufacturers don't go like, oh, you want six or months of orders of this product? Yeah, of course. When are you gonna pay us? Oh, after. No, they don't. They take the money up front, and so again, PlayStation left with very few options. We're like, we need to uh, just start paying for this stuff right now, increase the price of the console, and then we'll put it back down as soon as we could release these headsets. Because, of course, you don't want to have a $550 console, and what will possibly be, I expect this to be at least another $500. You don't want those to kind of conflict with people because then at that point it's $1,000 system, and that's very crazy. And we'll see if this works out. I'm very surprised PlayStation pushed the gun for a VR2 headset. I'm gonna be very honest, um, because it's a very niche product, and we're headed into a very uh, choppy environment where niche products are the bust ratio to boom is off the charts. Like you have a higher bust chance of just everything falling apart than you do booming right now. And it's only going to get worse. And so, I'm not super confident in the VR. Not saying that it won't be great, but I'm just like the release time is very questionable at best, and it's just something where it's like I'm surprised they're pushing for this. Hopefully it turns out well, but we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of like my big ticket thing that I kind of want to talk about at the end. Um, and so, you know, I could talk about what I'm kind of looking forward to for the rest of this year, gaming wise. I started, you know, you know me. I always want to play relaxed games. I also want to, try something new. I'm playing now on my Xbox Riders Republic. Uh, just to have it like kind of a relaxed game, just something where I could just throw it on, do some tricks, play terrible at it, but 15, 20 minutes, it'll be a fun game. I threw up Cyberpunk again, just because, show came out, it was very good. I've watched most of the episodes, not all of them. Hopefully, get through them all. I don't know. Uh, TV and me aren't like the greatest right now because I have a short attention span. So I'm like, if I don't get through it within one day, my motivation like takes a hit on trying to finish it. So I'm kind of thinking I should have finished it the one night I had time, but what are you gonna do? But I'm playing the game again. It's a lot more cleaner since the last time I played it, which was like 2 years ago. So, or sorry, not 2 years. Was it 2 years? It was 2 years, hasn't it? It's been wow. It's been a while since I played it on release. But yeah. Other than that, kind of hype for Call of Duty. I'm probably not gonna play it like on launch week. I don't know. I'll see if my buddies get it as well. Maybe I'll get it, but I'm more of a person where I'm like I don't want to pay $70 for that. I'm a firm stance of I'm never paying $70 for games. That is a cash grab and half. It's flagrant. It is flagrant that companies are charging $70 for games. It's flagrant. I don't care what type of game it is. I don't care if it's a masterclass. I don't care if it's something, whatever. It's flagrant. You fuckers, those fuckers get away with charging out the wazoo for DLC packs and it's just not worth it. It's crazy. So, um, other than that, I would say, biggest thing for me right now is just trying to push through and get through some of the games that I have ongoing. Another thing, Plague Tales Requiem. That is also a huge game that I am excited for. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick before. But yeah, I'm super 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 excited for this game. This might be my game of the year. It's looks gorgeous. And it's just the first game was super good looking. I played it on the I guess what's called the enhanced edition. Looks great. Just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm super excited. I don't want to watch more of this because I don't want to get spoiled, but I'm super excited. This for me is like where standalone single player games belong, is like $50-$40 packs, because it's like you're only get paid for play like 6 hours of it. But I'm super excited for that game. But other than that, we'll see. And I think from there, that should end my little console video game talk for today. And then we'll talk like PC, hopefully this weekend, unless there's even more crazy stuff. Uh, just kind of my journey with that. So, thank you very much. And yeah, this is a long way coming back, but also we'll see.